tell you something. You know, all this crap about, you know, we're looking for a leg up or whatever it was. I mean, the old man,
Barry,
Bazza.
We'll take some of the blame for that.
Well, what did you do? Go and pull him out of the cupboard?
I wasn't there, but...
How many Stella cans were on the floor? Tell me. But the point about that is, that tells you who's the boss, who's saying what there. You know, I don't know who's saying what. We want to make these fights. He put so many barriers up to make anything. What's that all about? I'll tell you what it's about. He's an accountant. He's an accountant at heart. He knows that if Cash Cow gets beat by Tyson Fury, he's got a problem. He's only got 6 months left on that deal with Sky. It's his own deal. They cut his money down. So they've got some issues there. And the fighter that means everything to him is AJ. Without AJ, it's a bit skinny for him. So they need him, and that's why they don't want to make the fight. I'm not saying this today. I've been saying this to you, Dan, for a year. They do not want to fight Tyson Fury. I know they don't want it. But one obstacle's gone away. One they was hoping was going to stay there. That's now gone. So we should be able to get this fight on there. We should be able to, hopefully we're going to get this meeting on. I don't care who I meet, whether it's Eddie, Barry, I'm going to bring them both along. It doesn't matter to me. All I want to do is get the fights on. That's all that matters, to get these fights on. It's important for the fans because that's what we want to see. We all know they're the fights we want to see. The rest of it, you know, they're not bad fights, but we want to see the best fight the best. The two Brits fight each other. That's all that matters, and that's what we want to get. And I don't hear all these obstacles about leg ups and all that crap. It's really simple. We know it's a 50-50 deal. Let BT and Sky both show it, so we have no arguments. What are they going to do? The two TV companies going to get in the way of the biggest fight in British history? One of the biggest sporting events? No, they're not. So we all do it together. Simple.
I did want to ask you about that though, because when you first proposed that list of fights, you got a lot of good press, fans, media alike seemed to be really receptive to the idea and found it refreshing that you were kind of reaching a hand out across the aisle to make fights that people want to see. Since then, we've seen this kind of disparaging, condescending tone at times from guys on the other side. Eddie talking about helping you guys out, and then Barry, the interview you mentioned on Seconds Out recently, saying, well, you know, if it's not on Sky, it can't happen, and if he wants money from it, it can't happen. Just very negative in terms of the offer.
They don't want them. They don't want the fights. You know, people are not stupid. They watch that. I know they don't want them. They might a couple of them they might fancy, but all in all, they don't want them. They don't want that to happen. They don't want to see the best fight the best. They don't want to see them fight our guys. I think a lot of our guys will win. I know me watching a fighter and knowing about fighters. I know more about fighters than they'll ever know as long as they live, the pair of them. They're good at running their promotions and business, but I'm talking about actual boxing itself. So the point I'm making about it, I know they don't want that. I know they don't want it, but we're reaching out. We're trying. I'm not going to have all the others. I don't want the arguments. I don't want all that. All I want to do is make the fights. We've got a long-term. We've got the best boxing deal in Europe. Probably the best boxing deal outside of the deal in the States that Top Rank had with ESPN. We've got a long-term deal with BT, a blue-chip company. That's what we've got. So we've got the security of that. We've brought along a lot of good fighters in the meantime. A lot of their guys are there doing whatever they're doing, but we want to make these fights. The fans want to see them. We want to see them, and it's not the end of the world. I've got a stack of young kids here today, a stack of young kids, good young kids, still coming through. They're going to come. That's what happens in boxing. Some guys are going to make it, some are not going to make it. Some will get beat, but they'll come again. I mean, Derek Chisora, look how many times he got beaten and I kept bringing him back. You know what I mean? But the point is, that's not the end of the world. It's not the end of the world getting a loss. That happens in life. You know, I've been down, you're up. That's what happens in life.
You nearly got it.
Well, yeah, but the fact is, you get on with it. So what I'm saying is, forget about your ego, forget about all the noise you keep making, talk about your company and, you know, how much money you got. If you've got all that money, stop writing to fighters and telling them they've got to take less money, which they do. I've heard Andrade, and they moan, all these fighters moaning that they're cutting down their money. You know, spending fortunes on fireworks. You don't need all that. Give it the money to the fighters. That's what. I don't care about all that. All I care about is delivering the fights that we know. I'm a fan that we all want to see. I want to see these fights happen. I've reached out. Eddie, to his credit, come back to me, sent me an email last week saying we'll get together. So I'm just waiting to see when it is. Let's get together and let's do it.
Talking of big nights on BT, just before we let you go, you've rescheduled the Josh Taylor mandatory defence of his title against Apeen and Kong Song. Any exclusives you can give us on the undercard?
Not at the moment, but I will do. But we're going to be announcing announcing another 3 shows this week, and they'll feature 3 of our big names.
Any hints?
With that, they will involve Liam Williams, Anthony Yard, and a couple others.
Thanks, Frank. Always a pleasure.
Cheers.
Cheers, mate.